Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we're going to be looking at some of the upcoming things that are going to be in Godot 4. And here comes the pun. Yes, we're all waiting for Godot. Hopefully we'll get a beta before the end of the year, but as of right now, if you want to check out what's coming in Godot 4, you need to build it from source, which is exactly what I have done here. And do know, building from source, you are on your own in a lot of ways. There's no documentation for the new features, and stability can be a little iffy. But what we're going to look at today is the brand new particle systems. We've got a new Vulkan renderer, and as a result, we've got new particle systems with a bunch of new features and functionality, and we're going to check all of that out. So you can see here, this particle system, we got a couple things going on. We got collisions going on. We have subparticles being generated after a collision happened. It's got a lot of functionality that was missing in Godot 3.2. On top of that, you can see this example I created, and it's a monstrosity. I've done really bad things with the environment and bloom effects, etc. But you can see here a particle system coming down and interacting with the world itself. We've got emissive particles here, and they're hitting a collision height field. So the geometry in our world is all being triggered there. So we're going to look at all of that stuff today. So we're going to start things off. Let's create a brand new particle system. So to do so, let's create a new scene. You're going to notice no default environment in scene. So 3D environment. First thing we're going to do is create a world environment so we get some default lighting. All right. So a world environment here, and we'll just go with the default. So just create a new environment, we're good to go. All right, so here we are. Now it's time to create a particle system. Go up here, create a new node, and we want to create a particle. Now you'll notice there's GPU, first off, node, spatial has been replaced by node 3D, just a naming convention change, but we have CPU and GPU particle 3D. Almost always you're gonna wanna use GPU, unless you're working on some really old legacy hardware, for example. And what you'll also notice is all of the fun new stuff that we wanna play with are available only on the GPU, at least for now. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll create a GPU particles 3D right here. There we go. The nice thing is, right off the hop, it's not gonna work because, well, frankly, we have to do some more setup. You can see here a nice little warning sign of what we need to do. We need to do two things. We need to create a particle to actually draw. So this is the actual shape of the particle itself. We got multiple passes. We're only going to create one pass. And we're also going to set up the material. This defines how the particles behave. So first off, our particle, come in here, create a new spherical mesh. Little bug still here, just keep that in mind. We'll go in here, we'll do an edit on it. So there it is, sphere mesh. Let's go ahead, we'll add a standard material on top of that, and we'll just set it to red. All right, there we go. So we have our particle here inside of our particle system. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, so now we've got that particle there. We're gonna go back to the base particle, and we're gonna apply the material. Now you can do a shader material. You can actually write shaders for particle systems, but I'm just gonna do it the easy way. So there we go. Well, we immediately have it defined there. We're creating 8 particles. We can assign a sub-emitter. We'll get to that in just a second, but let's go take a quick look at a couple of the things we can do in our particle material. So you got things here, how much they vary, the shape of it. So we're going to emit this out of, emit from a box shape instead of a point. We can also do a spherical emission like so. Let's move this guy up a little bit. And all of your collisions are going to happen within the bounds of the emitter itself, by the way. So if you want to increase the size there, you're probably going to want to do that. So now we've got here, we can scale our particles down. Let's do that actually. We'll scale these down to 0.2. All right, so we got some much smaller particles going on here in our particle system. Let's go back to the base emitter, make that 64 particles here. So you can see as they're falling out of space. If you want to create them so they last longer, just increase the time. You're going to see they keep on going. But if you want to do something like a collision, which is what we're going to show next, it's going to have to be within the controls of the particle system itself. So let's go ahead, come up here, and we're going to create, we've got particle already searched for. We're going to create a collision box. So we can drop that into our world, and immediately you see what's happening there. The particles are hitting the box, and off they go. Now we can go ahead, we can transform that box. So let's drop down the scale here. And we'll make it a little bit there. And now you're seeing the particles are coming out, and they're colliding with that box immediately. So you can do particle collisions really simply, which is quite cool. And then here, let me just turn that so you can actually see the results in action. There we go. So now you've got colliders that you can use for dealing with particles in your world. And this is a good opportunity to showcase another feature. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to create a new particle system. Here, I'm gonna child it to my other particle system. I'm not sure if this is something you need to do or not. There is no documentation, so a lot of this I just figured out from experimentation. So my practice may not be best practice, by the way. So I'm gonna create another particle system here. This one, we've got to do the exact same process. So what we're gonna do is make this one so you can visibly see the difference. We'll make this instead of that. We'll make it cubes. We'll make them white cubes. Mostly white. All right, so now we have a second particle system in action here. And we need to go back to the process material, create that, new particle material here. And again, we're gonna probably wanna come in here and make those a whole lot smaller. So let's just go down to 0.1 as well. All right, so now we've got a set of white particles you're seeing coming out there. You can hear they're easy to see if we get inside of the volume. All right, so there you go. We have these gray-white particles coming through right there. You know what? Let me make that an easier to see color. All right, so our second system, come here. Let's just get that color going. Let's make them blue. All right, that should be a little. All right, so there you can see we've got a blue particle system and these red particles we had all along. So now what I'm going to do is go back to here and we're going to turn emission off. So now we only have the one particle, but now what I can do is I can come back to the first particle system we've got going on here. You're gonna notice we have this sub-emitter. I'm gonna assign, and we'll assign the second particle system in there. Now there's a couple of other things we need to do here. So we need to go to sub-emitter down here and we turn it to when it should be on. So I'm going to turn this when there's a collision, we'll create the secondary particle. So now you're noticing our particle system is generating more particles on a collision. So if you wanted to have, you had a particle system controlling, say, a laser, and then when it hits a surface, you wanted to have smoke come off, you can now do that. So you've got subparticles in place here. Now, obviously, you're probably going to want to have a few more of them. So we get boom here, and you can change how they work. So for example, we could come back here and we could make those explosive one-shot particles, and then we could change the gravity or whatever. But as you can see, now you can have sub-emission particles. Now, I actually believe you can keep nesting this, so your subparticles can actually have subparticles as well. Some definitely really cool stuff going on here. Now, so far you've seen collisions that we've got in place. Now, I'm going to go back here. First off, I'm going to get rid of the subparticles. We don't really need them. All right, so we got our primary particle system, and right now we've demonstrated how colliders work. What I'm going to do is get rid of the collision box. All right, so out you go. All right, so now we just have straightforward particles falling, falling, falling. Now what we're going to do is create an attractor. So we've got a couple of different options here. We got a box, a sphere, or a vector field. Let's just do a spherical attractor. So create that guy right there, and there it is in place. This guy, you got to make sure that attractor interaction is on. Generally, that is actually the case, and it has to actually happen within the realm of the particle system, within the bounds of it here. So there it is. We can now change the strength and the radius of it. So let's go ahead and create, actually we don't need to make it that much bigger. What we need to do is make it that much stronger. All right, there we go. So now we have this field here that will attract particles to it. So here you can see it in action. Okay, you are not doing as much as I was expecting. Am I within the bounds? I should be within the bounds. There we go. So we're attracting up to it, like there. So I pull that down a little bit. Let's pull that over a little bit. And you see, they should be coming over. I don't know why the strength isn't higher. It should be, there we go. So we're definitely pulling particles over at that strength. Now, so as you can see, you've got the ability to put these attractors in, and they will influence where and how your particles go. So if you've got, I'm trying to think of a situation where you do this. I suppose you could definitely emulate wind using this effect, or basically any kind of a fluid simulation where you want it to go towards a specific point. You can do that using these new particle attractor spheres, which is definitely a cool new feature. So we've got the new colliders here. So again, I could just add one back in here. So let's go ahead and add a collider box back in. So there we go. So we can attract particles, we can collide with particles. A lot of new power from this functionality. Really cool stuff going on here. But let's say you're dealing with a more complex scene. So let's get rid of our collision box, and we'll get rid of our attractor sphere. And here you can see we've got nice free-falling particles all over again. So now what I want to do is add something a little bit more complicated into the world. So let's go ahead and drop in this scene I pulled from Sketchfab somewhere. All right, so now we've got where'd my particle system go? All right, there's my particle system. Let's drag that over here, up. All right, so let's make this guy a lot bigger. So let's go here and we'll 10 times up. Oops, I missed an axis. There we go. All right, so there's our particles in our particle world, like so. We could I think we got room here. All right, so there is our particle system interacting with the world. Why are my particles so big? Just a second, I'm going to tweak my particle size slightly. All right, there you go. So we got red snow falling in our world right now, but you're gonna notice it's not really doing anything. It's basically hitting the world, falling through the floor, and everything else. And that's obviously not really what we want. Now we could do this. You could come in here and you could create a particle collider, and you could do it, you know, fill the ground. So I could create a fake ground by coming in here, basically going, all right, collision box, like so. We'll position it over here. We'll scale the heck out of it. Come on, buddy. You know, like this, like so, and we can go the other way. I think it's Z. Let's make Z 50. All right, there we go. So now you're going to see we start getting particle collisions on the ground, but you're not going to want to set up colliders, you know, spherical or box-shaped colliders for all your particle systems around the world. So when you're dealing with an outdoor scene, you have a new option. You also have an option for indoor scenes. We're only going to look at the outdoor one today, but I will show you the indoor one while we're in there. All right, so there we go. Setting it up with collision boxes seems like a bit of a stupid idea. So we're just going to get rid of that guy. Instead, what we're going to do is come in here, and we're going to create a height field. So height field is what you would use for an outdoor scene. So if you've got a big scene going on, and this can be linked to your camera, so it can only be, you know, to what the camera sees to keep down processing power. And then if you've got indoor scene, you would instead use an SDF or sign distance field. So what I'm going to do here is do the height field demonstration. So now we've got a height field in place. And let's go ahead and scale the bounds up. Like so. All right, that was twitchy. And now you'll see within our bounded area, it's doing the collisions for us. And the cool thing here is you're gonna notice it's hitting the ground as well, but it'll actually do height field mapping. So as you see, the collisions are coming in, and when they're hitting that building, they're bouncing off. So what this basically gives you the ability to do is to find a swath of area, and it will do a height field calculation for it. This should be pretty performant. And then you see your particles are coming into the world and doing the collisions. And my throat's going. So let's go, for example, back to our particle system over here. Let's go to the particle count, and let's make it rain. All right, there you go. A lot of particles. And there you see the SDF in action. So we got some particles coming over here, bouncing off the side of buildings, over the top of buildings, bouncing around, bouncing, 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 bouncing. Give it a little bit more time so they can spread out and around. And yeah, that's really all you need to do to hook up the new particle systems to work with an outdoor terrain setting. And again, the equivalent for inside is to use SDF. And you can do basically the same thing for colliding with an internal volume, such as a room or a sealed environment. So as you can see, now with the new particle systems, it is just so much easier to set up collisions, attractors, subparticle emitters, and so on. There's a lot more power in the Godot 4 particle system for sure. GPU 3D particles, definitely something worth checking out. And again, if you are interested in checking this stuff out, you are going to have to build from source, at least until that first alpha or beta release arrives, which hopefully should be very soon. Anyways, so that was it. That was what I intended to cover today, the new particle systems that are coming in Godot 4. If there are any other Godot 4 features you'd like me to preview, let me know. I'm thinking about doing one on GDScript next, but you guys will ultimately decide. Let me know, comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.